Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel, and the um, overall goal of our channel is to bring help and assistance through audio format to as many people as we can dealing with any number of challenges, including but not limited to psychological, mental, and emotional challenges. We try to do that through bringing coaching-related topics to the forefront in an audio format as often as we can. We've got over 735 of those audios available for your listening pleasure now, and we try to add to that as often as we can as well. If you're looking for ways to get through difficult times in your life, perceived crisis, and or other formats, it's imperative and helpful to reach out to a coach to get a new perspective. My goal as a coach is to always bring new perspective to people. I don't make your decisions for you. I just make it easier for you to find the decisions that you yourself need to make. And today we're going to talk about mitigating or minimizing the damages of a crisis situation. If you are dealing with something, please feel free to reach out at PO Perception on Twitter or in the About Me section of this YouTube page. The more you do that, the more people we can serve and help, and that is our ultimate goal. In any event, it is the goal of this channel to try to make life as simple and easy as possible for as many people as we can. In any event, so what to do when you have a crisis situation, or things to do to mitigate the damages should one arise. The first is to have a mentor that you can go to, or several of them, in a crisis situation. The worst thing the person can do, or one of them anyway, is to try to make a decision or series of them in a crisis mindset. This is because our fight or flight response is often triggered, which then therefore means we're going to go for the first logical or emotional response that makes sense to us. It doesn't necessarily mean that we will make the best decisions. So when in crisis, if you have one or more people to go through in a mentorship role, they can help you deduce the things at which you may be missing, or that you may be overlooking, or that you may be ignoring because of your pain. So the next thing to consider is be responsible with how you plan for unforeseen circumstances. This could mean being able to plan out what you would do in a difficult situation, and or to be able to have resources, financial built up, as well as emotional and social support, connections in as many ways as possible. The simplicity of dealing with things on a continual basis, the easier it is to get through things. Setting short-term, long-term, and medium goals to protect against unforeseen circumstances is another thing that people forget to do. Most people go through life and they don't think about what could go wrong, but if you spend a little time every week or every month planning for unforeseen circumstances, when they finally do arise months or years later, you'll at least have some reserve, and therefore it becomes easier to identify where you need the help and where you have surpluses available to you. The next thing is understand that your self-identity is not defined by your state of being, state of mind, or state of crisis. And so a lot of times what happens is when there's a loss of relationship or a loss of home or whatever, a lot of people, because they identify themselves with the things they have, or their relationship status or other outside identity factors, will overvalue the impact of such and undervalue the fact that they are still capable of recovery. When a person doesn't see themselves as capable of recovery, when a person struggles in that way, they're actually setting themselves up for emotional failure. The next thing is positive changes. So look for consistent and continual ways to implement positive changes in your own life. It doesn't have to be anything huge. It doesn't have to be anything daily or even weekly, but it does need to be somewhat consistent so that you can see the progress and relate to it for when things get important. Then the last thing is own your mistakes and learn from them. So owning your mistakes doesn't mean blaming yourself. It doesn't mean rumination. It doesn't mean getting stuck on what you did wrong or where you failed. But it does mean accepting that there are things you could have done differently, and that you can learn from the things you could have done differently to do things differently in the future and also make your life easier. When you are willing to take personal responsibility for the things you could have done in a better way, and or you're able to identify the things that you where your weaknesses lie, it is then easier for you to make better decisions in the future and avoid crisis situations where your blind spots or things that you would rather ignore are triggered in some way, form, or fashion. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.